This video is going to go over the vocabulary questions for chapters 8, 9, and 10 of the Westing game. Before you do anything, please double check that your name first and last and your homeroom are on the top of your paper. If that is done and you are ready to go, then let's move on to the vocabulary. The vocabulary directions says use the vocabulary words to fill in the appropriate blanks in the sentences below. Before you begin, you need to know that these sentences that are on this worksheet are not sentences that are in the book. So you need to look up the definitions of these words, which are from the book, in order to put them into the sentences correctly. The words are pretentious, infirmity, humiliate, and abstention. The sentences are 1. Hoping to tour an important historic home, the visitors were disappointed to find just a or an blank display of wealth. The reason it has this N in parentheses is because if the word begins with a vowel, then you put an in front of it. If it begins with a consonant, then you just put a in front of it. So rather than giving that away, I put a and then n in parentheses to show that it could be a or and so that you actually have to look it up. 2. Despite her physical blank, Sarah accepted the challenge of a camping trip. 3. Total blank from potato chips was the only solution to Ling's junk food problem. And 4, notice that it had a typo, which I fixed. It says, afraid her little sister would blank her, Keisha refused to bring her to the party. So in order to do this correctly, you need to look up the definitions of each of these words. Let's go ahead and start with the first word, which is pretentious. So I'm going to take the word pretentious. I'm going to go to Merriam-Webster's Word Central Dictionary. In my search box, I'm going to type in the word. Pretentious is Pretentious. I'm going to select go. And pretentious is an adjective, which means it describes, and it means appearing or trying to appear more important or more valuable than is the case. If I go back to my questions and look at my sentences, let's start with number 1. Hoping to tour an important historic home, the visitors were disappointed to find just a pretentious display of wealth. As pretentious means trying to appear more important than actually is the case, it's possible that pretentious is the answer here. 2. Despite her physical pretentious, Sarah accepted the challenge of a camping trip. I'm not sure that trying to appear more expensive or important than is actually the case makes sense here. So I'm going to say that 2 is probably not the answer. 3. Total pretentious from potato chips was the only solution to Ling's junk food problem. It doesn't sound like Ling or her potato chips are trying to sound more important or more expensive than they are, so that's probably not the answer. 4. Afraid her little sister would pretentious her. Keisha refused to bring her to the party. So at this point, I guess Keisha's little sister could be pretentious in that she wants to appear more expensive or important than she actually is. So now I'm not sure if pretentious is 1 or 4. So now what I would need to do is I would need to go through and begin with looking up the next word, which is infirmity. So I'm going to go to my dictionary, look up the word infirmity, and it says the quality or state of being infirm. It uses the word to define it, so I don't know what infirm means, so let's look up infirm. Infirm means weak or frail in body, as from age or disease. Now that I know that infirmity means a weakness or a disease, I now have a better idea of where to put infirmity. So 1 or 4 we know could be pretentious. Um, let's see. Hoping to tour an important historic home, the visitors were disappointed to find just a blank display. It's probably not a weak display of wealth or a diseased display of wealth. Okay. Despite her physical infirmity, Sarah accepted the challenge of a camping trip. It could be this one because you can be physically weak or have a disease that affects you physically. So that might be it. All right. 3, total infirmity from potato chips was the only solution to Ling's junk food problem. Well, if you're trying to solve a junk food problem, you probably can't be weak about it. So I don't think it's that. 4, afraid her little sister would infirmity her, Keisha refused to bring her to the party. I don't think a little sister could disease somebody. So I'm going to say, despite her physical infirmity, font bigger. Despite her physical infirmity, Sarah accepted the challenge of a camping trip. Okay, so we've got 1 taken care of already. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and end the video, and you are going to finish answering these questions on your own.